This is the trading situations that we have been waiting for, but I'm still putting out a beware for the Bitcoin relief rally that we are seeing at this present time. Now, there is upside for cryptocurrencies, but it does look like the rally is just wearing out in the short term. So let's take a look at that in today's video, where this could drop to, what we could expect next over the coming 48 to 72 hours, and just where these cryptos could top out and the signals to look for if we are trading these cryptos during the Bitcoin bear market. Make sure you've smashed up the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. 30% of you still unsubscribed, so make sure you do that. And of course, hit that like button. It's the best investment you can make. It's for free. And if you don't like it, unclick the buttons afterwards and leave me a comment with some beautiful emojis down below. There's still time to enter the World Series of Trading over on Bybit. Now, use the links in the top of the video description if you want to have exclusive higher sign-up bonuses up to $4,450 using the link down below. If you don't use it, you'll just get lesser sign-up bonuses. So your choice, you can use that link down there. Now, if you are trading, make sure you have experience and a plan, and of course, use stops. We're looking at trades in today's video, plus what's going on with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, some topping out levels. So this is all going to play hand in hand, even if you're just a spot trader and want to know what's going on in the market before the news tells us. Remember, the charts don't lie. The charts always tell us what's happening in advance, provided we continue to improve how we read the charts. So with that said, let's take a look at Bitcoin and what I'm seeing in the charts. Looking at the price continuing to move up as expected, but now I'm putting a little beware warning on this because it's just not moving up as fast and as hard, throw a joke in there, as I would have liked. Looking at these two arrows down here, we can see the low. This is a swing low. If I throw in our TIA GAN swing indicator, put that on, you can see that this will be a swing low, and this is also a swing low. The problem with these I see is that there's just not enough volume coming in on the 4-hour chart. Now, if we look at the previous tops, the swing tops here, you can see this one where it says 2 because it was 2 days up. Look at the volume that came in on the top that pushed the market down. Look at the volume that came in on this top right here, the one that says 0 on top. You can see the volume's just a lot higher than everything that's happened here. And the price range is just starting to contract, meaning that we're just not getting as big of a move to the upside as we have previously seen. So these are all sort of starting to shift to a bit of a rollover. Note, however, that this is a 4-hour chart. So this is a very, very short time frame. And essentially, it's kind of the time frame that people who watch the news look at. They're just pretty much looking at short-term stuff whenever you're looking at the news. The good sign to this is, for now at least, you can see this yellow line here. If I take this off just to give us a cleaner looking chart, we're above the yellow line, and that's the previous old all-time high. So it's nice to see that we are at least holding above that for now. So the alternative, or the scenarios that I see here, if we are to drop, test our 50%, possibly even lower, somewhere into this zone here, which is approximately 18,700 to about, if I can get my line here, 19,200. I still see that as bullish, provided we test it and come back above that level. And that's what I think has the possibility now of happening because of the volume just not really pushing us too far just yet. So hopefully we get that volume push us through sooner rather than later to above this price here, because that is the current uptrend resistance level of 21,700. So with all this in mind, then this leans over to our trading opportunities. And somewhere in the title, I've got something about 80%. And we looked at this in the previous days, specifically at total 3. So all of the cryptocurrency market caps minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. We want to get an idea of some of the resistance levels for our altcoin trades. Now, what is happening in altcoins? What is the fundamental news? What's going on? Who's doing some developments? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we want to see where the price will go and what some of the resistance levels are for the overall markets. And I think if we start to hit some of these levels, then we should start to look to take profits on any altcoin trades, or at least put some stops in a little bit higher. Get those stops a little bit tighter because we do have some resistance levels that are quite close. Now, it's going to be up to your own plans where you think the market can go. I've got a couple of options here. The first option is a very, very conservative level, and that's only 24% from the low, which would mean from our current price, it's not much in it. There's only about 7 or 8%. The next level I have is 2 up here and not this one here. So I'm looking at 2 because we can see that the market has found support in the past, and this bar in May was really where the market broke down from that level. So I don't really expect it to go much above about 580 odd billion. That's also a second 50% level. So the fact that we're getting price clusters coming in together with 2 significant levels is really, really important. So you can see I've got this level from the low to the high, and you can see the numbers are just lapping over each other. So it is at about 580 billion, and that's the major 50% level as well. So the price range from the low to number 2 is about 80%. So if we did start to break through these levels here, you know, the number 1, number 3, and then get closer somewhere in this zone up to about that 80%, I would be looking to tighten the stops on any profits that I made across the board. And I'll look at a few cryptos in just a moment. The reason being is that we could see a reversal from that point and then the market just come back and test some of these lower prices. So I wouldn't want to lose all those profits, especially in a bear market, because the upside is usually smaller than what we see in a bull market. Now I've got number 3 as well, because you can look back here and we did have some support with the previous crash. So this is the total cryptocurrency market cap, and this is a crash where the bodies of the candles held up on a macro chart, on a weekly chart here as well. So we've got the lows, the lows, the lows, and the market did hold up on that crash week in May where we got that first low. And then we had the market come back up and test that level. So I think there is some sort of significance there at around that 470, 480 billion. So if we take a measure from the bottom, that gives us about 48, somewhere around that 45 to 50%. So that's not too bad. It's not something great, but at least it gives us an idea of where the market might find resistance on any cryptos that we're trading, and then maybe come back so that we're prepared in case that does happen. And trading and investing is basically about being prepared, because you don't know what's going to happen. No one can tell the future, but you can be prepared. What you should be is prepared for the scenarios. Here's a scenario that I've come up with based on the past facts on the chart. Here's another scenario I've come up with, and the third scenario as well. So provided I and you that potentially are investing or trading are prepared for each of these scenarios, and you might have your own scenarios, then at least you can fight the battle when those times come up. The best thing is to be prepared. So let's take a look at ETH, and to prepare for an ETH trade, looking at these lows, $880 to the upside to around 1400 is about 60%. So that's where this first yellow line is. So that's how I'm coming up with these levels. That's a previous old all-time high. The market did test the old all-time high on the way out in the bull market. So that's a good sign that it is a good price level. And then the next level up is at about 93% away from that low. So there's a lot of room to move here. That's $1,700. You can see the lows that all came in previously. The market did hold up slightly on in March 2021, and the market held up again in May before it broke down from that level. So I'm looking at that as being a good level of significance for the ETH market. From the current price of about $1,150 to this top upside level, there's still about a 47% move up to about $1,700 per ETH. Now, just to the 1,400 at about 22%. So I'm still always wait for confirmation. I just do not enter any of these markets just based on nothing. I need to see confirmation, and I like to use my swing chart for the confirmation, testing of support and resistance, looking at the macro, looking at volume coming in. I need a lot of these rules to check off before I enter a trade. Now, Solana, if you're looking for something that has a little more upside than, say, ETH, you can see the bottom here at $25, and then we have a few levels further up using this top that we've just seen, and that is also a breakdown level at about $58. The pricing, the percentage moves to the upside are much, much more massive. So about 125% to that upside of 58, about $80. It gives us 200%, and that was the previous support level before the market really broke down. Now, if you're wondering, how is this even possible? How can these things even move up? Think about it from the flip side as well. You would never have thought that Solana would have broken down from $200 down to $25. So it's not about whether it's stupid, you're a fool. It can never happen. Even once you say it can never happen, or you didn't think of something, the chances in crypto is that it can happen. So it's best to be prepared for stuff that you don't think can actually happen, and just let the market, let the people who are actually trading this tell you where it's going. So you are prepared. Just watch what the market's doing. That's the only way. That is the only way to do it. And I keep repeating that because it's so important. There's no other way to say that it has to go to this level or it can never go to that level. The only way is to watch what the market is telling us. Now I've got XRP in here as well because this is a trader's dream. People trade this thing all the time. It's got very high volume. So what's XRP doing? I'm looking at the 200-week moving average because we've seen in the past that it does find some resistance before it breaks out. And you can see it does use support and resistance. Now, if we throw it onto a candle chart, you can see just how easy it is to use to see where those support and resistance levels are for the 200-week moving average. And so all I'm doing here is just using the measuring tool again, just to give me some price projections for these markets. You can see it's about basically 70% up to the 200-week moving average. Now, I'll take this off log to give you a better idea, a bit of a more balanced view of the chart. Low to the 50%, which was also some previous support. That gives you approximately 108%. Now, if you want to be conservative, then you just look a little bit lower and then start to take those profits before those resistance levels come in. And that gives you a bit more of a conservative exit. Checking the macro on Bitcoin, just looking at the daily here, from the low to the 200-week moving average, approximately 28%. So the 200-week moving average is sitting around $22,500. Going up to the yellow line here, about 30%, and then to the 50% zone at $25,000. I know a lot of people say it can't happen, we've got to go down further, but there's going to be a lot of ups and downs within this range. That gives us about 42%. So I'm going to be watching the Bitcoin chart and the total 3 chart to give me some ideas of where some of these other cryptos might start to top out so that I can bring the stops up and protect my profits. I'm not saying that the bear market is over, but I think we have a bit of a churny ride ahead of us, and we really need to start being far more prepared with any sort of profit taking in these situations. So to the upside, to the churny side, to the range of Bitcoin, if it is in the bottom range, let's take a look back at what has happened in the past. Lows to highs here, we can see from that cycle low to the top was 340%. So if Bitcoin's only going to do half that, that means we could still move from wherever we are now at 17,500 as the low, looking up at about 100%. That would bring us to that bottom level, which was support, broke down and could be found as resistance. And that's a big move to the upside. 98, 100% brings you out at about $35,000, which doesn't mean that the bear market is over, but it's to give us an idea of where this market could bounce to and give us some significant resistance levels. Now, if the market is to fall from this point at 17,500, then we have another couple of levels around 12 and sort of 16,000. I know a lot of people looking at around the 14. So if you wanted to use approximately 14,000 to the upside, 130% just brings you out at these highs. So there is the possibility of the Bitcoin range, somewhere that we could be looking for the next 6 to, who knows, 12 months of a churning range that the market can move between. And they're going to be sucking a lot of people in because it's such a good price range. You can move the market 100% and then back 50%. And that really starts to suck a lot of people in. They'll be buying tops thinking we're about to break out, only to see the market fall again from 50%. So you get to $30,000, fall to about 15 grand again, but you're still within a trading range. So keep that in mind if that is what happens moving forward. Protect any profits that you're making within trading itself using some of the strategies that I've shown here in terms of resistance levels for Bitcoin and for the total 3 market cap. And of course, stay safe. Hope you're making some money. Check out the links to Bybit. Link is in the top of the video description. Using that link, an extra $1,000 on the sign up bonuses as well. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys at the next video. I hope you're having fun. Have a great weekend. Until next time, have more fun to get more done.